Man, I cannot imagine climbing these hills in some crude wagon. I'm in the southern part of Colorado, and it's a beautiful morning. It's cold, but it's beautiful. And my goal is to find a pretty incredible piece of history. I love when there are opportunities to be able to look back into the past. And hopefully, if I can find it, today will be one of those days. This rock is probably 9 feet tall, something like that, and the wind has just eroded this away. This is one of the smaller ones, but I wish I had a tripod to show you. I mean, you could almost seek shelter in these things during a bad rainstorm. Looks like something from Mars. All right, I finally found them, but I'm glad I had some trouble because I was able to see some of those really cool rock formations. But this is it. I mean, you can walk out here. There's no signage that tells you where they are. And if you're not really paying attention, certainly if you're not looking for them, you would walk right past them. So this is what is left of the Old Spanish Trail that was established right around 1829, and it was mostly used as a trading route for the Mexican settlers who used to trade with the Native Americans. And it went from what is now Santa Fe, New Mexico, all the way to what is now Los Angeles, California. As they would make their way over this rock, this is ash from an ancient volcano. It's a soft rock, and those wheels actually wore down tracks into the rock here. And we are looking back in time from somewhere in the mid 1800s right now. I mean, try to picture yourself out here crossing this land, no roads, nothing. It's rugged. I can't imagine trying to pull a wagon or a cart over these hills, over these gigantic boulders and or around them, and just squeeze through everything. Most of the wagons, or most of the carts, I should say, that were used on this trail were called carretas or carretas. That's my non-Spanish accent there. And they were usually loaded up with heavy items, wood or something like that, and they were pulled by oxen. So you can imagine how heavy those carts were. And just imagine those oxen pulling these carts over these hills. And slowly but surely, those wheels to those carts wore down these rocks. I mean, that is so cool. Look at this one rut. This is at least 1.5 feet deep. How cool. I can only imagine that these smaller little cuts into the tops of the rocks could be from the bottom, just bottoming out, scraping the rocks. Now this is really only on this ancient volcanic ash here, estimated to be over 30 million years old. So there were old volcanoes here that erupted. This is ash that sat here, and over the course of all those millions of years, it solidified, turned into stone, into rock, but it's pretty soft. It's probably almost like sandstone, where it's, it weathers away. You can see a big chunk here worn away, and who knows when this was worn away. Maybe a big wagon came by and whacked that thing. As the wagon scraped the sides. So that ash I'm talking about, volcanic ash, is right here. It's pretty much all over the place, but this is what it is. So it's from people walking on it. It's broken up, so it breaks up pretty easily. It's not exactly the strongest type of rock. Let's see how far it goes for. And you can it gets harder and harder to see, but you can definitely still see the remnants. And it's certainly not the only area that you can see this in the country, but it's the first area that I have seen in my life. And like I said, I'm in southern Colorado, and there are places like this in Oklahoma and Kansas, Nebraska, but this is supposed to be one of the best places, just because how deep these are and how obvious they are. Once you find them, there's really not like I said, there's not a lot of signage out here. You're kind of on your own. It's about maybe 1.5 miles to 2 mile hike out here. Beautiful, beautiful area. To give you an idea on how hard it was back then to cross this area, it was once called the longest, crookedest, and arduous trail in America. I wonder if anyone's ever had a metal detector out here. I wonder if you could find some old coins or tools. Who knows? Weapons, knives, bounced off of the wagons. Well, if you'd like to come out here yourself, if you're ever in the southern Colorado area, this is called the Penitente Canyon wagon tracks. Penitente Canyon is filled with all kinds of interesting things. I showed you a bunch of the rock formations. In fact, this is a very well-known area for rock climbing and things like that. But it doesn't seem like too many people come out to see the wagon tracks. I think this is the coolest part. This is amazing. Any kind of old history like this that's somewhat preserved. Very cool. All right, well, like I said, just a short video. I'm going to get back on the road. I have couple more really cool things to see up in the mountains in Colorado. So, oh, and by the way, just a shameless plug. It's cold out. Go get yourself a sweatshirt. The link is down below. Thanks.